Does anyone actually believe that this piece of junk went to the moon? Yeah, this is the thing NASA said landed on the moon.
Will NASA be using duct tape again for this moon mission as well? Guys, I posted that this morning because if you don't know, they're supposed to be doing a moon mission. They're going around the moon. They canceled the moon landing again. The moon landing. But I've got some treats in store for you. Take a look at this first one.
Does anyone actually believe that this piece of junk went to the moon? Yeah, this is the thing NASA said landed on the moon. It looks like it's made of cardboard, aluminum foil, and duct tape. Yeah, I said duct tape. Remember this go-kart NASA brought to the moon? Well, they used duct tape on it to hold the wheel together. Yeah, that's duct tape. Don't believe me? Ask NASA. NASA themselves said they used duct tape to keep the moon buggy and the moon lander together. So this thing landed on the moon and took off again?
99, proceeded, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector good.
Who's filming that? Who stayed behind to film that? So we're supposed to believe all this crap made it to the moon? Look at all those footsteps. They must have been walking around a lot. Thank God there's a breeze so the flag will wave. And by the way, who's taking the picture of the first steps on the moon? You believe whatever you want to believe. But somehow NASA had a craft made out of cardboard, aluminum foil, and duct tape that made it to the moon and back with all that radiation. And no problems whatsoever. Yeah, okay. Shabadoo mooshkis, shabadoo.
Now, of course, he's clowning around with the cheese hat and just real playing up on, we're all crazy. We're the conspiracy theorists, right? Who don't believe it. And the majority of people just don't believe it anymore. But let me show you in the timeline because I had people, who were trying to say, someone put, this is so funny. We're supposed to take a mope with a cheese head seriously. He doesn't seem to know that he's on the left side of the bell curve with Brock. What? Okay, child. I put, yeah, let's talk about the guy doing an obvious comedy bit, but not the facts that he presented. So you're saying that thing landed on the moon? Really? And yes, Nixon called them from a landline too. Let me show you this. And then, guys, the comments are so hilarious. All over X. If you're not on it, it's wild.
How did President Nixon call the moon on a landline in 1969? Let's break down exactly how NASA says it worked. NASA's official explanation. NASA says Nixon's call to the Apollo 11 astronauts was a standard telephone call, but it was relayed through an advanced communication system. Here's how it supposedly worked. Nixon used a regular landline at the White House. The call was routed through NASA's Mission Control in Houston. Houston then transmitted Nixon's voice to the Goldstone Deep Space Communications Complex in California, which had an 85-foot radio antenna. The signal was beamed 239,000 miles to the moon, where the lunar module's VHF radio picked it up. Armstrong and Aldrin responded, and their voices were sent back to Earth the same way. Sounds simple, right? But here's why it shouldn't have worked. The problems with the moon phone call 1. The missing signal delay. The moon is 239,000 miles away, and radio signals take 1.3 seconds one way, meaning Nixon's call should have had at least a 2.6-second delay in responses. Yet, in the broadcast, Armstrong and Aldrin respond instantly, faster than even 1960s transatlantic calls. Even if Mission Control relayed the call instantly, you'd still hear the delay in the astronauts' responses, but there's barely any. 2. The weak lunar transmitter. The lunar module's radio had only 12 watts of power, about the strength of a household Wi-Fi router. Transmitting a clear, two-way conversation across 239,000 miles with such low power? Highly unlikely. NASA's Deep Space Network needed massive radio dishes just to pick up Apollo signals, yet Nixon's voice came through crystal clear. 3. Earth's 1969 communication limitations. Long-distance calls in 1969 were unreliable. They had static, dropouts, and delays even across the U.S. Transatlantic calls required undersea cables or early satellites, which still had long pauses and interference. But somehow, Nixon's call to space, and even greater distance, worked perfectly with no issues. Before, radio interference and ionosphere distortion signals from the moon had to pass through Earth's ionosphere, which causes distortion and signal loss. But Nixon's call had no static or interference. Solar radiation and cosmic noise should have affected the transmission, yet the audio is flawless. Number 5. A perfect two-way conversation. The Apollo system supposedly allowed full duplex communication, meaning both parties could talk at the same time, like a modern cell phone. But even military radios in 1969 often used push-to-talk half-duplex, meaning only one person could speak at a time. Somehow, Nixon's call functioned like a perfect two-way conversation, despite the extreme distance and limitations of 1960s tech. So, could Nixon really have called the moon?
Could he have really called the moon? So I put that, and then the person, they kept replying. I didn't even bother at this point. Like, did you even watch the video? He put, he did. You can look up how the link was made. There was a big uh, antenna on the other end of that phone line. What? Like, I guys, I'm telling you, we are dealing with people just are just they refuse to see what's before them. But it's look, somebody replied, duct tape is alien tech. And I'm just laughing. And then someone's put, everyone knows use scotch tape for psyops. It's cheaper for the taxpayer. Exactly. And then another person put, I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is that the earth is flat and space is fake. Here's hoping, guys. It goes on, but I have more to show you. I love that dog. I love it every time I see him. So here's another post that I put. We never landed on the moon. Space is a psyop. We live under a firmament, as the Bible says. Buzz Aldrin is a Freemason. If you didn't know, yeah, let's get into this.
Do you know about NASA's connection to Freemasonry and the occult? You ever notice how all their mission names have roots in mythology? Apollo, Artemis, Osiris. Several key NASA figures were Freemasons. Buzz Aldrin, the second man on the moon, was a 33rd degree Freemason. He even brought a Masonic flag to the moon. John Glenn, the first American to orbit Earth, was also a Mason. And Kenneth Kleinert, who managed the Apollo program, was also a 33rd degree Mason. And then there was Jack Parson. He's one of the founders of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. He wasn't a Freemason, but he was an occultist who practiced ritual magic. He believed in merging science with mysticism. He used to hang out with L. Ron Hubbard too, you know, the guy in Scientology. He even performed rituals to summon what he called a new age of enlightenment.
And that goes so much deeper. I've actually played a video on, I believe I've played the video on how like the satanic connections, like it's just wild, guys. Wild. Literally worshiping Satan and doing seances and summoning demons. I kid you not. That is what we're dealing with. That is, who are the fathers of NASA. But then I posted this. One of these doesn't look like the other. In fact, I'll blow it up for you. So I'm going to have to scroll down on this, but look at this. This is how every civilization up until NASA depicted the earth with a firmament. This is a well-known thing. Guys, if you do not believe the government or trust the government, you can't trust them with anything, especially what they indoctrinated us with in school. I gave you the video about the world fairs, guys. Like, it makes no logical sense. They built these amazing world fairs in like 2 years, right? With gold and plaster and marble and all that. But it was just temporary, these structures. Like, I mean, achievements in construction and technological advancements. But they destroyed them all. And then conveniently, all of these cities caught fire. These in the world fairs caught fire. And then so that destroyed the rest. There's still remnants of it all around. But understand, a lot of people say, oh, you're one of those weird flat earthers. No, I actually just believe biblical earth, and every map and every depiction of what earth looks like up until not a space agency came around. So look at this. This is what the Greeks saw. Let me see if I can move this down. This is what the Greeks saw. The Navajo, Babylonian, Mesa, Japanese, Persian, Viking, Indian. Let's go up. It's wild. Mayan. Oh, there's NASA with their, this is a CGI that they don't have actually any real pictures of Earth, right? If you don't know that, this is a known thing. Incan, Hebrew, Australian, Chinese, Celtic, or I think it's Celtic, not Celtic. Celtic, Chumash, Slavic, African, Sumerian, even Masonic, right? So they know the truth. They just putting out the psyop to make people not believe in God, not believe the Bible, not believe truth. They want everything to be a lie and a deception. That is part of the plan. I've shown this over and over. Islamic, Roman, Egyptian. So all of them were wrong. All the maps, all these different things were wrong. But then suddenly NASA was correct. And guys, they've lied about everything. And someone even posted the verses. Okay. It says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and earth, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. Now, just to show you, there's like more people posting about this. It says Artemis 2 moon mission is about to begin tomorrow and nobody's talking about it. Space accounts on X are scrambling for answers as to why no one is talking about the mission. It's 2026. It's 2026. Should I say more? The moon landing never happened because it was filmed in a Hollywood studio. Watch the documentary below. Now, this is a long documentary, so we're not going to be covering it. But I mean, people are just killing them. I mean, just every single post. There is no one even they're not believing any of it. But I thought it was funny because yesterday I came across this post. Now, this is Matt Walsh. This is nothing against him, but you just got to see the comments. So he's one of the people upset. He's saying it's ridiculous that NASA is launching a mission around the moon this week and will send humans farther into space than ever before. And it's getting almost no attention. A landmark moment in the history of our species. History books will care about this moment even if you don't. Child. Idiots will say that they aren't paying attention because there are more important things to worry about. And then they'll post about like clavicular shooting an alligator or the Harry Potter reboot. I'm not posting about that. I'm posting about the last days and the end times and the signs that most Christians should be seeing right now. I don't think he is. Go ahead and post about that stuff if you want, but stop pretending that your mind is just so laser focused on issues of greater importance. For the media, the conflict of interest is obvious. This is happening under the Trump administration. They have to undersell it, which is why the corporate media was significantly more interested in Katy Perry launching to the edge of space for 12 seconds than they are in this. That was a psyop. That's all fake too. And clavicular, all of that is psyop. Harry Potter, everybody is a distraction. Launching to space for 12 seconds and they are in this actual history making moment. Child. Someone put hard to get excited when they told us decades ago we planted a flag there on April Fool's Day. Going to share some posts about this mission now. Okay, sure. People are struggling to make ends meet as the government that steals $68.5 million a day for NASA systematically destroys their way of life through plunder, war, and profit. And you want them to care about a bunch of privileged astronauts being sent into space? Someone put, yeah, those history books are the problem when grown men start talking about space travel. Why would we be impressed by faking something that doesn't even surpass what was faked over a half a century ago? I mean, we've got children and grandchildren to raise, Matt, elderly parents to care for. We've got bills to pay, and the transmission just went out on my wife's 13-year-old car, and the faucet is leaking in the bathroom. Our sons and daughters are being recruited to fight in another war in the Middle East to line the pockets of bankers, politicians, and defense contractors. So excuse us if we don't have time to revel in wonder at this little trip around the moon. All right. I mean, there is nothing is supporting this at all. At all. I mean, there's thousands of comments. No one's believing this mess anymore. Tell me the fairy tale about how NASA landed men on the moon. Guys, look. I think this says it all. Now, of course, I have the perfect shirt that goes along with this. This is coming from my shop, realmelanieking.com, things that you will not find anywhere else. But look what it says here. Did we, though? Did we? Does anything else need to be said? All right, so this comes in different colors, guys. If you want to pick this up along with other conspiracy theory merch, right? It helps support the work that I'm doing here. Get the word out. We have funny moments like this. But there's a lot of serious things going on and people need to wake up. Even the things he listed that people are distracted by, I'm just like, well, why are you distracted by this other stuff? Because the most important thing right now is looking at the world and lining up with biblical prophecy, lining up with conspiracy theory, where they are the new world order is what they're doing. They're ushering that in. They are purposely hitting energy infrastructure. And I've shown that even today, I have a post that I want to go over about that people are starting to pick up on. They're like, something's not right here, but they call it the new world order, but it's the B system. Talked about all in the Bible, and we know what that time will be. But while we're here, we got to wake people up. So this is one of the ways you can help support the work that I'm doing here. I'm not doing topics that are going to get a ton of traction, a ton of views. They're not going to be popular, but they are critically important during this time. Now, another way that you can help support the work is just by becoming a member, guys. Becoming a member. The links to all of this will be below in the description box. And yeah, I will see you on the next one.